Good morning, Wabash. Today, speaking in Pioneer Chapel is Mr. Rich Woods, giving his talk titled, Stay With Me, Wabash. Mr. Woods came to Wabash College in March 2009 as the Director of Safety and Security. Mr. Woods earned his degree in Criminal Justice and Communications from the University of Nebraska, and he has over 30 years of experience in law enforcement, 23 of those as Chief of Police. In addition, he is a certified instructor for the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security in a variety of courses such as incident response to terrorist bombings and weapons of mass destruction. Please welcome Mr. Woods.
Are we working today? No, it's not. Good morning, Wabash. So, I told y'all, you ask, I'll answer. I expected to receive some funny questions, some fairly serious questions. Received a couple that gave me pause. And so, I'm going to alter my speech just a bit. Stay with me, Wabash, as we get through this. I will get back to what's important. One of the questions in here about social life on campus, chilling effects, and somehow we don't have our act together. So here's my first challenge to you. Student leaders, let's get everyone we can together in the chapel some evening next week, and let's talk this out. If you all want to have a social life, it's on you. It just is. You run this campus. Don't ever forget that. The rules with liability and alcohol have not changed. We have done a better job of educating you. To run a party takes a lot of work. It takes a fair amount of money. If you want to have parties, you got to pony up, gentlemen. Let's talk this through. Let's get better. Let's get back to the questions. What's your favorite vape juice? Holy Christ. There you have it. Cumin pipe tobacco. Man, I did it simply to quit smoking, not because of taste. What's your favorite golf course? Rocky Ridge. Why? It reminds me of Wabash. It's small. People care about each other. They take things seriously. They take care of their place. I like it. What is your favorite party at Wabash? I'm going to get smacked upside the head if I answer it. It's not fair. But I will say, I have to say Beta Mania is pretty good. When you can have a party where you're laughing, that's a good thing. How large a role should money play in deciding your career? Man, serious question. If you have a job or an opportunity, an occupation that you like, money has to come second, third, or fourth. There's no amount of money that can make up for happiness. It just can't. When you start a young career, you want to make sure you have rent money, beer money, date money. After that, you're good. At some point, though, you have to start growing up again and realize that retirement, buying a house, future is important. Money becomes more important. At the end of the day, you can survive on what you want to survive on. Happiness, it just comes along. It doesn't come along too often. So I'm going to jump ahead to another question. Of all your jobs, your career, where does Director of Campus Security rank? Number one. Number one here, gentlemen. I'm telling you, I have run 55-man police departments, 13-man police departments. There is no place like Wabash. You all have made me a better person. This job is phenomenal. What has changed most in your time at Wabash for the worst in relation to the student experience? My perspective, not much. We've gotten after it. We do a good job. You all step up to the plate whenever it's needed. But let's start off with communication. My first month here, Dean Rader said, "What do you think is the biggest problem?" Communication. Today, what's the biggest problem? Communication. We talk, but we don't really talk. Some of the greatest conversations I have, you all know, is at 2 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the evening. We just had them last weekend. We talk, we listen, we ask questions, we probe. We want to get better. We need to have those same conversations between 8 and 4. So if at the end of the day, there's another question, what do we do to have better communication with President Hess? Part of the reason is it's hard to get in and see him because he's not here, because he's out selling Wabash and raising money a gazillion days a year. So what do? Let's figure this out. Fraternity presidents, RAs, get on his book, pick an evening, pick an hour, pick a place, and let's have talk with the press. He'll show up, he'll listen, he'll challenge you, you challenge him. You want to have communication, you got to figure out when to do it and on terms that everyone can meet. Understandable? What's the most impactful thing that happened to you in Vietnam? How did that get in there? Holy shit. War is hell, gentlemen. As a society, we keep getting ourselves in conflicts. You are the next generation to come along that will have the ability to change that. War is hell. You need to change it. Let's talk more importantly about expanding that to my time in the military. Most important thing I learned was education. If you want to get ahead, you have to be smarter than the guy next to you. Y'all got a great start on that. Don't give up. Keep moving on. For those that are going to be doctors, do it quickly. I might need you pretty soon. What advice do you have regarding relationships? Trust, commitment, and if it's going to be a long-term relationship, friendship. If they're not your best friend, you got a problem. You can have multiple best friends. It's okay. Trust me, if you are going to have a long-term relationship, you damn well better be friends. What's the most common mistake students make at Wabash? Thinking that we don't care. I hear that a lot. Oh, you don't care. Bullshit. Care more than you'll ever know. At times, we are a day late in seeing things. That's why we count on you to let us know. If you think there's a problem, let's do it the Wabash way. Because we're students, because you're students, it goes through the dean. Sit down, have a conversation. If he's unwilling to fix it, bring me into the conversation. We'll have greater talk about it. The man bleeds a different color of red than the rest of us. So I'll give you a good example. We were invited to present at a national conference. And what we're presenting on is how we address alcohol, sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, those kind of things. I knew we'd get some pushback from the people in attendance. What I wasn't prepared for was the passion that he had explaining how you all get it, how you respond to things when we talk about moving forward, getting better. At the end of the day, later on in the afternoon, I'm meeting with some other people that were at our conference in our session. How does it work? I tried explaining it. Finally, I said, you got to come see it. You have to come, feel it, see it, be a part of it. Sometimes we take you all for granted. Trust me. I've said it to you as small groups. I'm saying it to you now as a larger group. I'm awfully proud of everything you've accomplished. You need to know that. Now I'm going to give you a little pushback. There's a question in here about what can you do better. Y'all have lost some of your swagger. Let's just talk about that for a minute. If you're whining about not having parties, you just didn't have your act together. But let's take plays, sporting events, let's take chapel. There was a time, up until last year, no matter who the speaker, this chapel was full. This year, it's sad, gentlemen. It's sad, and that's on you. It says you don't respect the tradition. You want people to come and give you the best advice they can, talk from their heart. Man, you're not showing it. It's not all our problem. It's not all that we're not doing for you. It's what are you doing for us? Wabash is great because we're a team. Get your swagger back. Let's get the team better. We'll use basketball games as the next best example I can give. Holy Maloney's. We have games where there's 25 students at the game. Do we not care anymore? Do we just not care? Or do we have better things to do, play video games? Help me understand. Get your swagger back. Step up. Wabash is all-inclusive, supporting each other no matter what, day and night. I think that sometimes you don't know how good you are. That sometimes you forget what you're about. You're bright. You're funny. You're willing to. You gonna die down there? You good? Anybody gonna be a doctor? You need some help. Most of all, you're, for the most part, committed. It is tough to be a Wabash man. It is just different. It is just different. It just takes a bigger set of gonads to come here. Y'all know it. It's not a normal thing. When you tell your friends you're going to Wabash, they step back and look. Whoa, man, why are you doing that? And then when you hire him, you go, there it is, Jack. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. The gentleman's rule. What do I think of the gentleman's rule? Oh, man, it's great. It is great. Confusing, but it's great, isn't it? It's what we want it to be. Think critically, act responsibly. Those are two parts that I deal with a lot. Not real hard. Sometimes being a Wabash man and the gentleman's rule is tough. I might even say it sucks. No, actually, you all say it. Because you're held to a different standard, to a different level, and that you know at certain situations you've got to alter your behavior. Let's look at where we were 9 years ago. We were averaging 9 to 11 arrests a weekend. We had a party, people were going to jail. Let's talk about this. We worked on policies, we worked on ability to do the right thing, have fun, and stay out of jail. When's the last time someone went to jail here? Been a long time. Been a long time. Couple years from a party that we had. That's on you. You did it. Y'all, you should be proud of what you've accomplished, that you have figured out a way to be social. And when someone says you haven't been social, what did we do the last month? You were rocking it pretty well. I'm just saying. You can do it every weekend. It's difficult. It's hard. Might even get a little boring. You need a reason to go Butler, IU, Purdue. Let them spend their money, right? Live off of them for a couple weekends. Transparency and inclusion in the student opinions. Man, that's above my pay grade. It just is. I give you the best advice I always have. But I think here it is. When you're walking across campus and the administration is walking across campus, How many of you have walked up and walked with them and had a conversation? Might only be 2 minutes. I don't see that happening much, gentlemen. You're Wabash men. Start the process. Some of us are a little older. We forget things. Remind us. Remind us what's important. If you think it's important, start the process. Get your swagger back. Do what's right. All right, let's get to the second page. What's the best way to revigorate the campus? Freshman year, there was so much life and activity. Doesn't change. You make the life, you make the activity. Maybe you need to have greater voice in the student senate. I don't think it's really them. You're not going to be afforded the opportunity just to do whatever you want to do. There are always going to be limitations. Sad commentary in life. I keep waiting for the day that Deb tells me I don't have to do anything anymore. I don't see it coming. I just don't see it coming. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen, and what was your solution? Okay. Not here, because I'm not going to embarrass anybody, but a long time ago, early in my career, got a call of a suspected burglary in progress. Arrive, and we'll just use the theater building, because that's a pretty good example of this place we got into. Curtains down the side, down the front. Go in, search in the building. Down the side of the curtain, goes down, there's a little bump, goes down, and then there's feet sticking about 6 inches out from underneath the curtain. So me, having a sense of humor, I say, maybe we should release the dog. We don't have a dog, but maybe we should release him. I walk up to the curtain, and I go, gotcha, and I grab his leg. You'd have thought I killed him. Screams, hollers. If you're going to be a criminal, you got to have a little bit of intelligence. Just saying. So another moment that changed how I perceived people. Got a call of a suspicious person, roll up. He's wearing black dress shoes, white socks up to his knees. And so far you're going, there's nothing strange about that, right? He has an aluminum foil hat kind of helmet on. Holy crap. It's in Chicago, right? Early in my career to where they say, it's yours, rookie. You got it. Guy's last name was Babel. He blinked about 1,000 times a minute. I called him Blinky. I don't tell it. What I realized was that when there was a number of officers there and a crowd, he was struggling. When people left, gave him a time to settle down, let his emotions calm down, you realize he was a pretty good person, and that he was wearing an aluminum foil helmet because he lost his helmet. Guy's a college graduate. Fell, head injury. Where our brains function, and we're on a highway and we go straight, if we make a right-hand turn, left-hand turn, we're golden. He had to make multiple right-hand turns just to get back where he started. You ask him a question, it might take 3 or 4 minutes. It might take 30 seconds. But if you just look at the initial person and you go, A, crazy, B, let's get him off the street, you've done a disservice. It made me stop and think that when you talk to people, you give them an opportunity to be themselves. There's times when I've told people I'm going to arrest them, and they called me all kinds of names, repeatedly. Once they got done, much easier to take them to jail. It's not always about how quick or how mean or how tough you are. Listening, gentlemen, it's an important factor. Listen to each other when you talk, when you're in your house, in your living unit. Sometimes it's just funny, and you probably ought to write it down, save it for a book. Sometimes it's just because you need a good laugh. Sometimes you say, oh, man, I need to talk to somebody about this. It's a little strange. It's what we're about. It's what Wabash does. We step up, we assist people, we move forward. What's your favorite pastime? Golf. Lots of golf. If there's a way to figure out how to put a dome up someplace, I'd play it 24/7. How do we keep Wabash men in the society out of the dumbass zone? Oh, God. You get better each year. You have gotten better each year. Think about it. How many times on Monday evening when we meet do we talk about people that had seriously got themselves in the zone? It's far less this year than it was the year before or the year before. You get it, you take care of it, you stop people when you see them getting into it, and then every once in a while we just let it happen because it's comical. We just figure somebody needs to go there, right? For our own well-being, you get to be it this week. Takes the pressure off of us. We look pretty good. When you talk about away from campus, true story, I'm at the police academy last summer. During the first break, state trooper walks up and he says, "You from Wabash?" Well, hell yeah, I got my, yes. He goes, "Well, one of your students interned at my wife's law firm." I'm waiting. I said, "Oh," and he goes, "She was impressed. She was impressed." And then he went on to tell me about what makes you and sets you apart from the other interns. And he kept waiting for a response. And I go, "Man, that's normal. That's what we do. We are different. We are better." Sometimes you forget that. I say, "You've lost your swagger. You are better. Get it back." What's your favorite moment at Wabash? Pretty much every day. Pretty much every day. It changes. It's always different. Some more fun than others. But every day, you get to interact with people that care. How great is that? Not too many people in their lifetime get to have that opportunity. What's your favorite Wabash tradition? Man, there's a ton of them. Commencement. The fact that you select your students to be commencement speakers. Unheard of. Phenomenal. It talks about what we are. I wish we'd do that more with admission days. I wish we would have more students up front, in front of parents, saying, "This is who we are. This is where your money's going. Your son will be like this at some point, or he'll be at the school down south." It's true. My understanding, if I correctly, that the school raised close to $1 million in 24 hours for students. Trust me, those that made the investment, it was a wise investment. If there's anything we can say to those people who think or want to give money, it builds men. It builds good men. It's a great thing. So let's talk about where we go from here. I'm going to go back to my first opening point. I'm serious about a meeting next week. Let's figure out what we need to do to get on the same page so that we don't feel like we can't have a good time. That's just not right. 2, within the next week, y'all need to get on the president's calendar. It fills up quickly. Let's get this ball rolling. I've made this offer to him before. I'll make it again. You want to see campus in a different light? Come walk with me. You can have some fun. My best advice, last words. Pretty simple. At the end of the day, remember what you are. I'm getting older. I'll still go to war with you one more time. Thank you, gentlemen.